Hey everyone, and welcome to Shuriken Skills number 43 and the fifth and final part of this week's special 5-star series on Illustrator Blends here in the Work Smarter Not Harder dojo with me, Tony Harmer, aka the Design Ninja. Today we're going to learn a few final neat tricks you can achieve with blends while we make a funky lettering object. Now, before we get into the meat of that, I'm just going to show you quickly the background to what I've done here. I had a type object, and what I did was I converted that to outlines, Shift-Command-O, Shift-Control-O on a PC, and then I ungrouped that and then used the Pathfinder to turn it into one object, and then used the Command-5, Control-5 shortcut to turn it into guides like so. Okay, and then just locked my guides. Then on another layer, what I did was I drew pretty much the center line for that type like so. So just roughly, and just imagine that I'd be sending a brush along this path to actually redraw that text. After that, what I did was I introduced some ellipses, although they could have been and might actually be more interesting with other shapes in them, but I created these ellipses like so. I started off by giving them all a gradient, and that's where we're going to pick up, because I've got the gradients I'd like to use just here, but I want a few more steps in between. So I'm going to turn that into a blend like so. Okay, and then I'm going to expand it. So if I go to the blend submenu in the objects menu and choose expand, it then gives me all of those things as a group. I'll just ungroup them so that they're individual objects. I then select just a few of these different shapes like so, and tap I to get my eyedropper tool, and then fill those like that. And I work my way through actually picking up a few of these things. I've got the Command key and the Shift key held down now. That would be Control, of course, on Windows. Just to select a few more of those things and give them the next step. What I'm doing here is kind of controlling what I want the gradation to follow. So I'm just moving around like so, okay, tracing along the path as I go. So thinking, right, okay, I'm going up here next and then down here. Hopefully you can see what I mean by that. So I'll pick on this one next, and then this one. I think I'll move a couple of steps along from there. And now I'll pick on this one, hold down Shift and pick up this one, move a couple of steps down, and this one at the top here, go a bit closer, and then this final three just here, I'm going to pick these up like so, okay, and give them that final color. So there you are. All of those objects are now colored up the way I want them to be. I actually have no use really for this thing at the bottom. So if I want to, I can just delete it, and I do, so I have. And then I'm going to simply get the blend tool. So I'm going to tap W on my keyboard and now just move through these, clicking them in order. Just imagine you are going to send some sort of robot brush along this path, and just think, all right, I'd need it to go up here, then back down here, then up here, then off down to the bottom here and around like so. Hopefully that makes sense. You don't think I'm completely bonkers here. Well, I am, but not to worry. So if I just click there, that's it. So they're all in the right order. I'm not worried about the blend, the appearance of the blend at the moment. That's something I can fix momentarily. But what I'm going to do is select the blend and the path underneath, which you will have seen earlier on in the week a couple of times at least. I'm going to go to the object menu, down to the blend submenu, and choose to replace the spine. Now it might take it a moment or two to draw this. You can see here that mine is taking a minute or two to draw that, but suddenly I've got this really nice organic looking text. So here's the little known thing, because there's a few different ways you can approach this, but one of the things you can do with a path, so I'm coming up to the top here at what would be the eye, just zooming in on that for you first of all, is you can actually split paths in a blend and it continues to draw the blend. Let me get a slightly better view of that for you. So I'm going to tap C on my keyboard. That gets me the scissors tool because, of course, scissors cut. And then I'm just going to come along here and just choose a place to cut that path like so. And you can see I've cut it just there, and I'm going to cut it just over here. And I'm actually going to move up just a little way on the path. When I hover over it, it shows itself there. I'm going to cut away a couple of extra bits there. Perfect. And then just delete the bits that I don't want, because even though they're gone, it will still draw the blend. There we are. If I just get rid of that bit there, and effectively I'm actually separating that part out now. I can even bend parts of that spine around if I want to, and I could reduce that right the way down to just a couple of points, which might be really nice to do. I can actually get in there. If I just select it now, I just double clicked in that a few more times and just move that out of the way a little bit. You can see easy to resolve all that stuff should I need to do so. But there you are. That's a nice trick you've got. And you can do so many other things with blends. And effectively, it's all kinds of magic. And that's your Shuriken skill to practice now and going forward. But for this week, we are done. And I'll see you next week for another Shuriken Skills episode. See ya.